How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I told my sister, whoever whoever's on the other line of that text, I told her, look, we live in a crazy world. I didn't make it that way, you know. But if I'm being honest, if I speak the truth, it sounds kind of crazy, maybe. But I'm just trying to be accurate and honest, you know. Even if it sounds crazy, even if it sounds unbelievable, far-fetched, whatever. I'm just trying to speak the truth as I know it to be. Does that mean I've never been wrong in my life? No, doesn't mean that. Because anybody could be wrong. But you try to be factual as much as possible. Nobody wants to believe lies or live a lie or in a false reality, which is what I think most people are living in, considering their knowledge of their surrounding environment, good guys, bad guys. I think most people don't live in reality. They live in Disneyland, where there's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, Goofy, Snow White, Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, that's where most people live. They don't live in reality. They live in fantasy land. Now, just because I know something others might not know doesn't mean they live in fantasy land, because obviously there's things I don't know that other people do know. That doesn't mean I live in fantasy land. These are just different realities that people the frame of reference of reality is different, right? And so they make choices and decisions based on that frame of their known reality, of their how you perceive your surroundings, how you perceive the world you live in, your environment. Is it hostile? Is it friendly? Is it scary? Is it dangerous, safe? There are a lot of psyops that happen that try to distort people's already fucked up frame of reality, right? That's pretty much 24/7 propaganda psyop, whether it's racial division, which is an old communist tactic. I caught an old black and white show, and it actually talked about that. It was actually talking about communists and dividing up the races, and this was way back, I don't know, in the 50s. It was an old show, like a cop show or something, and it talked about, yeah, the communists, they would do bad things. They would take a pipe and a rolled up piece of paper, kind of the tactics that you see Antifa doing, right? So if Homeland Security was worth their salt, or any of these feds, they would have gone after Antifa, the BLM, Black Lives Matter group. But instead, they're not prosecuted. While the people that are being prosecuted is what we could say the right wing. So we have a politicized Justice Department. Merrick Garland, who's Jewish, head of the CDC, is Jewish. I heard that Biden's whole administration is pretty much Jewish, 80%. So where am I going here? Oh, talking about reality. Yeah. Reality and sanity, right? So if I tell you something that sounds crazy, you might just say, hey, you're crazy. That sounds crazy. I don't know anything about that. So I think you're crazy, right? Well, who cares? That's why you don't talk to people. But yeah, I told Sarah that, I didn't make this fucked up world. I am just trying to see it as it is. And as far as being insane, I've done some research into that. I was researching, following a guy who was studying actual crazy people mentally in mental institutions. And yeah, there were these little demonic entities attached. They would attach themselves. And in my opinion, I want to give an opinion here. So when, let's say someone does crystal meth, for instance, it opens up doors for these trans-dimensional beings to come in, probably. Just like, people say, well, if you drink alcohol, spirits, whatnot, that opens up doors or portals. So they are kind of like parasites that when your immune system is down, the parasites will kind of move in and take over. Whereas if you keep your defenses up, don't drink, don't damage your body, don't, do drugs, especially crystal meth, right? Don't do those things, and you keep your defenses up, you have a higher probability of avoiding that. And just have a good diet, iodine being one, magnesium. When iodine was added into salt, I guess, or the diet, that a lot of institutions, mental institutions, were closed. So yeah, I would tackle it with that first, and then you move from there, and you can move into the demonic, spiritual, archon, these etheric parasites, energy parasites that feed off fear, right? They feed off fear, so that they need that fear energy from you, from humans. That's their food, right? So they're little vampiric energy vampire, right? Energy vampires, trans-dimensional energy vampires. So yeah, Sarah, you can call me whatever you want. I was just checking on you because you would send text, you'd say even good morning, like we're not fighting or we're not arguing about anything, and you would text me, and then for some reason you wouldn't pick up your phone ever when I would call. You wouldn't even just pick it up. I just found that weird because I wouldn't even be texting you, for instance. You would text me, and every time I would call, you wouldn't answer. I'm just saying that's weird, to have that aversion of getting a phone call. That's all. And then I just kind of, Margaret asked about you and said she wanted to go hang out. You're just kind of dismissive, and then you started being kind of just throwing rocks. Because you can't answer your phone, and obviously I start talking shit because you're not doing anything, you're not working, you're going to school 24/7, or you're going to the gym, and you don't have time for anybody, and you don't even have time to answer your phone, but somehow it's my fault and I'm being a jerk. No, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it, because I do worry. I do stress out sometimes. And it's because of what I told you about Liz, right? That's a reason. So I'm not going to go all into that, but there it is. So the weekend, I got the kids, I got Margaret and Natasha. What are you doing? Oh, I'm busy. I don't got time. Well, you don't have time to answer the phone. You didn't have time. You just said, "Oh, I'm busy." Oh, you didn't say, "Oh, it'd be maybe next weekend," hey, it's whatever. Maybe you, I don't know. There could be a million reasons why you're busy. You don't want to talk. Maybe you found a boyfriend. Whatever, right? It could be anything, but I don't know. So I don't know. What else do I want to say? Oh yeah, Merrick Garland is Jewish. He came a long way. He came a long way to be doing what he's doing now. Struggled and came up the ranks. And his family worked hard. Now he's there to do what he's doing. There you go. We don't have any slouches in the communist ranks. No slouches. You need people who are, well, you might have some drug addicts. You might have some crackheads. You might have a lot of people with some hang-ups, some vice. But there might be a creeping, crawling with vice, one vice, whether it's sexual, or it's this, that, and the other. I won't say that the whole entire administration is perfect go-getters, but the work ethic, to take over the world, or anyways, I'm not going into that. Why do I slip into that? Yeah, I'm Joe Biden is your president. He's a commander-in-chief, right? Or wrong? I'm going to say no on that. That's a no. The military, they're kind of doing their own thing, though. They're running their own show. It's their show. They're running psyops on America. George Floyd, riots, communist, color revolution, whatever. Other than that, so Sarah chose the route of talking shit on me, calling me crazy because of what I said about Liz, mental problems. Okay, you can say whatever you want, Sarah. But you haven't answered your phone, oddly. So I just wanted an answer for that. I just wanted to figure out why. And you're right. You don't have to. You don't have to answer your phone. You don't have to talk to family. But what did Janet do? Because Janet mentioned the other day. I didn't bring it up. She brought it up. That you hadn't been texting her for a couple of weeks like you normally do. So she brought that up herself, and then I mentioned, yeah, how you haven't been answering your phone. But we weren't fighting, that's the thing. So we're not fighting. Even you would text me first when I'm not texting you, and then I'd call, but you would never answer. So yeah, that's fine if you have boundaries up, but I'm just trying to, and I'm not trying, I don't want to overthink things, because, right, I could do that. But, yeah, I do stress out, or I worry sometimes, you know. So yeah, you said none of that happened to Liz. None of that happened. I'm crazy. Right. Yeah, everybody lives in their own reality. We all have our own frame. However, in the book of Neville Goddard, I would like to get into that more, because you can reimagine the past and change the present. Reimagine the past and change the present. So when you think of a past thing that happened, maybe it's unpleasant, you can just reimagine it. Reimagine the scene. Reimagine the situation. So it lives in your imagination, right? Because you live in the present. So when you reimagine the past, when you imagine whatever bad thing happened, you can reimagine, like I could reimagine, Elizabeth slitting all their throats, all the Satanist throats, And I did practice that a little bit. I reimagined her killing her killers, gutting them like fish, So all the bloody, evil stuff that happened to her, I imagined. Not that her kidnappers or killers were kidnapped themselves, but I imagined that in that moment where they were about to kill her, she killed all them, They had their little party get together, but it was a bloodbath, but with their blood, not hers. So yeah, I do want to practice reimagining the past, right? Imagine if she was guilty, or I was, for the thing she died for, right? Imagine if she actually did what she was not accused of, or I was not accused of anything. No, there's no accusation. There's just kidnapping and murder. But yeah, I've tried to put that into practice, reimagining the past to change the present. And an example of this, somebody left a comment, was somebody had gotten to a car wreck, whatever, accident, and they had a back issue or a spinal issue, and they reimagined it, and their issue went away, their spinal issue. So this is really, life in the, fourth dimension, fifth, whatever, this is, this goes into the dimensional realm of reality, kind of. So, and that, A Course in Miracles kind of covers that too, the holy instant, and the power of now actually goes into that too. He said, is there two people thinking? Is there two thinkers? Like, this is me thinking, right? That miserable person is like, hey, is there two people thinking here? So this goes into the Archon theory of demons and whatnot, right? But I think a lot of it's just personality, ego, right? He talks a lot about the ego in that book. But yeah, I'd say A Course in Miracles and The Power of Now, uh, they you can kind of piggyback off each other with these two books. So the Course in Miracles talks about the holy instant now, you know. It's not sometime in the future. It's now. It's not sometime in the future when this happens, you know. And then the now correlates. So yeah, like Neville Goddard will talk, like you get the feeling first, and then it, the vibrational, you pick up the vibrational frequency first, and then emulate that, and then you attract that to your reality, right? So you change your frequency, you change your vibration first, and then that you attract the reality. So you can't stay in a negative vibration, even if your circumstances are negative, right? Because you can't get out of that, because you're in that, you're desperate, right? I remember when I was, me and Joy, we were looking for a place to live, basically, right? We were in my old room, which we weren't supposed to be, and I had to get out. Well, I prayed a little bit, but I had to get out of that mindset, maybe the environment. So I did go grab a cup of coffee at Barnes and Noble, Starbucks, whatever. Not promoting Starbucks, but I just went to a coffee shop and got a cup of coffee. And you have to, because I had to get out of that environment, right? So, and then I saw a pig, there was a lady with a pet pig. It was a pretty big pig. And then that reminded me of somebody who I called, and next thing you know, we're out of that situation, right? Now she decided to go back with her abusive ex, Frankie, which didn't end up well, but she did that. She went back to Texas, and I hope Joy's all right, you know? Because, I don't know, I should be getting a phone call. I should, even if you're mentally... Criminals get phone calls, murderers, rapists, they get phone calls. Murderers, rapists, they get trial by jury, which Elizabeth didn't get, you know? So, murderers and rapists are the ones who killed and kidnapped Elizabeth. But I guess I wouldn't want to convict or go after somebody innocent, but I do want to go after those people who did that. And I know a couple names and faces already. And I want to strike at the root. That's one thing I had written down. I want to strike at the root of their entire structure, I don't want to just get these guys. I want to know, is there a factory? Because eventually these blood-sucking parasitic demons, they would just die off and there'd be no more. So there must be some kind of place that they recruit and breed, whether it's Hollywood or wherever. But yeah, I kind of want to get at the root of it, of them, their organization. Yeah. Anyways, what's on my mind today? Quitting coffee. Yeah, quitting coffee. That would help the lipoma go away quickly, or quicker. So instead of actually having to take a supplement, if you got issues with something, I could just change the bad things I'm doing instead of trying to implement some good thing. Just take out the bad thing and implement the good thing, or substitute it with substitute coffee with lemon water and salt, sea salt, or Celtic sea salt maybe. So yeah, I want to cut coffee. And what else? What else was I thinking of today? I woke up. I don't know. What was I thinking of? Hair? Yeah, been thinking about buzzing my hair. Because, you know, I don't want to walk around like a French fry head, like Biden's press secretary. You know, there's a meme of her with the French fries. Yeah, you just kind of walk around like this. I don't want to walk around like French fry head. I do want to go after the people who killed Elizabeth, the bagman, the people who participated in that, the person who called the shots to do that in the first place. Yeah, I want to get away with I want to go after people who think they can get away with murder. I want to call you out. So yeah, basically Sarah attacked me verbally through text message because she won't answer her phone, which is fine. And that's another thing, you know, everybody who got these injections, I think, we have a war on humanity. We have crimes against humanity going on with this injection, which Trump kicked off. And so, congratulations, Trump, on doing that. You know, banning bump stocks, getting your 5 minutes of fame in the Vegas thing for your controllers, your Zionist controllers. You did their bidding and they kicked you to the curb. You set up your base, you did their bidding, and now they're through with you. And I think anybody who follows you is a loser. They're following you to nowhere. But hey, I might be wrong. Maybe you're fighting the deep state. Maybe, you know, you actually know what you're doing. I don't think there's anything, actual evidence to support that, though. We can hypothesize, but the evidence, I don't think, shows anything good. I mean, Trump did do good stuff in his, you know, while he was there. He set up mail-in voting. You know, he closed small businesses. Everything he did in 2020 was a mess. He was just like a player. And then when you call people out, or you call out Trump on anything he did, well, Pence was in charge of you know, the C virus. Pence did all that. It's not Trump's fault. You know, Kushner's, you know, he was advising Trump, and he gave Trump this bad advice. Well, Trump still has to take responsibility. It doesn't matter if it was Kushner. It doesn't matter if it was Pence. You did it. You signed off on it. So are you saying you can't take any responsibility for anything? Is that right? So if you can't take responsibility for anything, and there's everybody else, then, well, what is your purpose there? It's everybody else running the show, right? And you got to take responsibility for something, all right? Something. I mean, not take responsibility for everything. God, I know that. Nobody's asking that, right? Right? Nobody's asking you to take responsibility for everything. But, yeah, what's on my mind today was, quitting coffee, lemon water instead, salt, Soleil. Soleil is just a salt solution. You could just use salt and water. It doesn't have to be a salt solution. But, a little lemon, break up the fat. That's pretty much what lemon does. Break up fat. Grease. Lemon will break up grease. Why wouldn't it break up fat? That's what I'm thinking today. And I'm going to take some of the grass seed and plant it in a little pot maybe. Try to take care of your health. I didn't create the crazy world. I wouldn't like to think I projected it into being, but I do understand how the mind works, and I don't want to, think bad thoughts and make them happen, right? So I understand that the functionality there that's going on with imagination. I don't want to necessarily stress or worry with Sarah, but just you don't want to pick up your phone. I'm busy. I got plans. Okay. Didn't say next week. Didn't just, anything could be going on in a person's head. They got spike proteins circulating. They have chimera. They have graphene oxide interacting with cell towers. I don't know, right? But I just found it kind of odd, so whatever. And maybe I should reimagine the past. And that's what Course in Miracles, that book, tells you to do. It literally tells you something like that, like it didn't happen. It literally tells you something along those lines. So I think with the Power of Now, Course in Miracles, and Neville Goddard, we have some pretty good tools to wage warfare on the spiritual realm. But it's not always easy. We live in it's not always easy, right? It's not always easy to keep your composure, to keep your thoughts, emotions in check. Because we're connected, right? We're connected to this kind of web of other people. News is always in your face. This happened, that happened, right? And then you have emotional reaction to the news. This happened, that happened. Did you know about this? All right, well, bye-bye for now. See ya.